One of the best teams in the PSAL comes to Long Island. The Curtis Warriors from Staten Island takes on Long Island Lutheran in the Lehigh Invitational. Next on News 12 Varsity. Well, hi again, everyone. Welcome to Lehigh. Matt Shortis with you today on News 12 Varsity. Late out-of-conference games, they're only about one thing, and that is preparing your team for the postseason. For Curtis and Lehigh, that's exactly what they are trying to do today as they get ready for the close of the regular season with the postseason on the horizon. Curtis coming to Long Island from Staten Island, and they are one of the best teams in the PSAL, a semifinalist a year ago. They have their eyes on the top prize in New York City basketball this year, and they are led by Malik Martin, the junior guard, a third-year player and starter, averaging 20 points per game. He scored his 1,000th point earlier this year against MSIT. He's the younger brother of Hassan Martin, who's actually at Rhode Island, and he's getting recruited by Rhode Island as well. And for Lehigh, the junior, Donatas Koupsis, averaging 13 points, nearly 9 rebounds per game, a double-double machine. He's incredibly versatile. He can shoot, he can handle, he passes well and rebounds, and he's got a slew of Division I interest as well. Georgetown, Ole Miss, William & Mary, Wake Forest, to name a few. So Lehigh and Curtis coming up. It's the third game from the Lehigh Invitational on News 12 Varsity.
Who will rise higher, dunk harder, and go farther? The playoffs are here. Tune to News 12 Varsity all postseason long.
Number one team in our News 12 Varsity poll, the Long Island Lutheran Crusaders, taking on the Curtis Warriors out of Staten Island. Matt Shortis, Dylan Butler, Tom Schnars with you as we get ready to kick this thing off. Curtis at 19-3 on the season, coached by Dwayne Archibald. In his first year as head coach, a Curtis graduate, 1992. And the starting lineup for the Curtis Warriors, the guards are Mont Anderson, Ransford Aguiman, Sammy Magicadomi, and Malik Martin. And the man up top is Adelaide Oyakanami. For Lehigh, 14-2, coached by John Buck, a Lehigh graduate, 2002, his 8th season as head coach as he played at Wake Forest. And the lineup for Lehigh, Brandon Jacobs is in the backcourt along with Chris Coleman. The forwards are Pietro Giovanardi and Donatas Koupsis, and Isam Mustafa mans the middle. So a fun, interesting game between these two, which in the grand scheme may not be does not so much count for seeding or positioning as perhaps some that we've seen in the other two games, at least on Long Island, but good measuring stick, good preparatory games for both teams as they get ready for the postseason.
Without a doubt, and also, again, it's not necessarily their motivation, but if you look at a Curtis team, they're just on the outside. They're on the cusp of our top 20 poll, and it's certainly a win like beating Lehigh on the road would do measures for them. And we mentioned it during the last game. For Lehigh, this is a big week.
Giovanardi quickly ahead to Coleman, who missed on the dunk. Well, the cheerleaders out. And allowed Jim a very talkative defensive 5 for Lehigh. You can hear him from here. Up top for Oyakanami. Fabosi, a late switch to the starting lineup for Curtis. Right side, it comes for Oyakanami. Right corner, three-pointer is short for Magicadomi. Rebounded by Mustafa. Left side, Giovanardi will try a 3, it's good. The junior out of Rimini, Italy. For Giovanardi. First year in the starting 5 for John Buck's club. Baseline, this is Oyakanami trying to get around Mustafa. Right side, three-pointer, it's good for Aguiman. There's Brandon Jacobs. Tipped away by Magicadomi. all alone. He drives to the basket and lays it in. 16 points per game, a Staten Island Advance All-Star last year. Second year in the starting five. Good ball movement by Luhai and a foul as Mostafa will go to the line. Isam Mostafa averaging 11.9 points per game, one of 4 members of the starting five to be averaging double figures. Very high ceiling, says John Buck. I mean, you look at him and he's a sophomore. Means he's, 15, 16 years old. 1 of 2. Right side, corner 3, short. Rebounded by Jacobs. His show to run this year. After being a starter last year, he and Kupsis, one of the few starters that are returning from last year's team. 12-foot jumper for Kupsis is good. And a Luhai 6'5" advantage 2 minutes in. A foul on the floor. Oyakaname is called for the personal foul. Good ball movement again at the high post, and it's Kupsis finishing down low. I mean, when you get your bigs to be passing like that, you are a dangerous team. Kupsis to the floor. Oyakaname picking it up. Right side, 3 for Fabosi, in and out. Rebounded by Mostafa. Here's Chris Coleman ahead of steam, lowered the shoulder, and a blocking foul is going to be called on Aiguimen, and that drew some disturbed oohs and ahs from the Curtis bench.
Yeah, because you mentioned it. If you lower the shoulder, that's usually the sign, right, of an offensive foul. But
so that will send Chris Coleman to the line. Just under 15 points per game so far. He's shooting 56% from the floor. Early on, he's incredibly versatile, getting Division I interest. Wagner and LIU Brooklyn among some of the schools that have shown early interest. And early on, Luhai doubling up Curtis at 10-5. Aiguimen, left corner, it's Martin. First time he's touched the ball today and drains a 3. Smooth. A little over 3 minutes gone by. Luhai the early advantage. Jacobs puts it on the floor. Tough shot. Falls off the iron. Martin's got it. Coughs it up. Turned over by Mostafa. Kupsis, and it deflected. Stolen for the moment. Mostafa has it on the inbound.
so smart.
As Aiguimen had tried to save it.
You see the first thing that Mostafa did was he put his head up and looked around for his teammates. He didn't try to make a play that maybe is above what he can do.
Coleman's strong on the three-pointer, and Fabosi's got it.
And as you said, for a sophomore to have that kind of basketball IQ is really impressive.
Malik Martin. Getting some interest from Rhode Island. His older brother Hassan played at Rhode Island.
Yeah.
That one's well off the mark, bouncing around. Now it comes to Aiguimen. Aiguimen back to it. He's fouled by Mostafa, and he'll go to the line.
Hassan was more of an interior presence where he's that shot blocking, rebounding guy. I mean, he was such a terrific player to watch in his years at Curtis.
And he's delivered well. Rhode Island's been in pretty good positioning in the A-10 the last few years as well. Kanami netting the first free throw. Averages about 10 points per game. He's a young guy, only a sophomore, in with a bunch of upperclassmen. 1 point game, 10-9, early going. Rare miscommunication on the Lehigh side. Coleman throwing it away. He was expecting Koopsis to cut. Brian Kenyon, a 5'11 sophomore, will check in, as will Harrison Warnock for Lehigh. Magic Adome will flick it up. That won't fall. Battle for it. It's Mustafa with the rebound. Jacobs pushing the tempo. Jacobs to the cup. Dumps it off for Koopsis, who flicks it up and in. 6 points in the early going for Koopsis, the junior out of Kauna, Lithuania. Ranging to his right, Martin. Again, an unfriendly roll, second straight trip for Curtis. Knocked away, recovered though by Kenyon. He'll feed it to Koopsis on the baseline, and he is feeling it early on. Curtis has surrendered back-to-back baskets, and after being within one, they find themselves down 5. Magic Adome directing traffic. Here's Martin to the basket. Fouled by Warnock.
Funny, Koopsis is living up to that Porzingis comparison they like to make here on him. It's not just about the Eastern European background, of course. I mean,
though that is a factor.
There certainly is. But he's a big who can shoot. First free throw from Martin is good. And if we're making NBA comparisons for these Lehigh guys, how about Mustafa with a little bit Brooke Lopez kind of look to him, huh? Or is it Robin Lopez? I'm not sure which.
Robin. It'll definitely be Robin. I got another more obscure one I'll throw at you in a moment. Right side for Brian Kenyon. Underneath, and a block by Askew. A drive by Aguiman. Knocked away out of bounds.
It's funny, you were about to say the foul, and when you make a block from behind, that's more often than not called a foul.
Generally. John Buck roaming up and down the Lehigh sidelines as they're ready to make a substitution. Fabosi knocked it away. Lehigh trying to recover now. Warnock's got it. There's Warnock for 3. It's good. 17-11. Lehigh leading. Here's Magic Adome, knocked out of his hands, picked up by Askew. Now Martin with a little head fake. Martin, tough shot, about 10 feet out. Koopsis the rebound. Is able to find Brian Kenyon, a sophomore. Not often you see a sophomore on Lehigh get lots of time. Aguiman the steal, 2-on-1 for Curtis. Aguiman, little Euro step and drew foul. Brian Kenyon picking up the personal, and Aguiman, Dwayne Archibald saying he's their best defensive player. He was a freshman several years back when Dwayne Archibald was coaching the JV, and they won the JV City Championship. And he was a big role player in that. Some junior college interest as well as LIU Post. Just down the road.
Yeah.
Missing on both. Jacobs turning on the Jets. And Aguiman trying to answer back to it. Fouled from behind. It was Pietro Giovanardi. Committed the personal. Also, Messiah Swinson checking into the game for Lehigh. All-state football player. Second team by USA Today. And Acumen having trouble with his free throws last couple trips. Short on that one. Taken by Coleman. Coleman through traffic. So Lehigh opening up a 10-point lead in this first quarter with a minute to go.
I mean, I'll tell you, so impressed by Lehigh right now. They're deep, they're long, they're athletic, they share the basketball. You mentioned it earlier about how they talk on defense, and very much a team in their coach's likeness, I feel like, with the intensity they bring as well on the defensive side of the ball.
John Buck is simultaneously very calm and very intense.
Yes.
You can see him down in the corner coaching from the Lehigh sideline. Malik Martin. Martin on a pull-up. Batted around, out of bounds to Lehigh. I mean, he's so low-key if you're talking to him, one-to-one. But he's so in the moment and emotionally invested when he's coaching.
Oh, yeah.
Over the timeline, 10 seconds remain in the first quarter. Right side, three for Coleman is good. An offensive outburst in the first quarter for Lehigh. They lead by 13 after putting 24 on the board through the first 8 minutes.
The love, yeah, it's in our souls. The passion, it's in the cheers. And in that pivotal moment, we live and die with every pass, block, steal, and game-winning dunk. And we wouldn't want it any other way. Don't miss a minute. Download the News 12 Varsity app today.
Start of the second quarter, a balanced effort has Lehigh on top 24-11. 6 different players scoring in that first quarter for Lehigh. Down low and make it a 7 as Messiah Swinson will have his first field goal. Nice pass down low, Martin. Right side, three is good for Eric Morris into the game for the first time. Can be a real matchup issue with some of his size on the wing. Jacobs, left side, that's a long two-pointer for Warnock, no good. Ahmad Anderson in for the first time as well, brings it down. Anderson will step into a three, in and out. Jacobs. There's Giovanardi. Gives it up. Oyakami had the turnover for a moment, comes up with a steal. Down low, scoop shot, count it, and the foul for Magic Adomi.
A really good looking layup by Magic Adomi. Gets the and one. Giovanardi with the foul, his second. He'll come to the bench.
And Kupsas will return. Free throw is good.
So 6 straight points now for Curtis.
Underneath, shot a little strong for Swinson. And then he picked up the foul on top of that.
Yeah, Swinson's future very much on the football field. He's a terrific, terrific tight end. Already getting some big time looks.
Little shake from Magic Adomi, but he can't finish.
What a smart play by Warnock as well.
I mean, the team overall is very headsy.
Yeah.
Here's Malik Martin driving to the basket. And Curtis has found a little groove. Cut it back within 7. It's 26-19. Coleman, long 3 for Jacobs. It's good. Martin driving, and he's fouled.
Fouls on number 24, Chris Coleman. That is his first, team's second.
And Lehigh very quickly picking up 3 fouls in the quarter. And that will put Curtis in the bonus with 5:28 to go in the first half. So Martin, again, is a 20-point per game player with 20 rebounds per game, 12 rebounds per game. He's already to 8. And missing on the second free throw. 29-20, Lehigh leading 5 and change to go in the first. Warnock 3, no good. Martin's got the rebound over Kupsis. Ahmad Anderson, crossover, fouled, but not a continuation, I don't believe. Well, the foul's piling up. Brandon Jacobs now picking it up. 8th team foul, but 7 different players having fouls, so nobody in any danger. Ahmad Anderson, an all-state football player, wide receiver for this Curtis team, who won the New York City championship.
Yeah. First time Staten Island's won that in a few years. It's been all Brooklyn. But they go to Yankee Stadium, get the win.
Anderson makes 1 of 2. 8-point contest. Jacobs turns the other way.
And you know that Archibald loves his football toughness too on the court, no doubt.
Kupsis will step into a 3. 11 points for Donatas Kupsis. And that extends the lead to 11 for Lehigh. Magic Adomi up top. Draws a double team right through the hands of Oyakanami.
Lehigh ball. In the game for Curtis is number 4, Ransker Hageman, and number 32, Darnell Askew.
I don't know. The first time I'm seeing Buck squad this year, but I feel like he's now got more coaches, or as many coaches as players on his bench.
Yeah, he's got 6 coaches down there. Mostafa underneath. And the trainers down at the end of the bench as well.
But, you know, you're seeing that now, I think. You know, you look at, like, Christ the King in New York City, and Joe Arbitello's bench has so many guys on it. And what it does, it's football-esque in that all those guys there, they all have different responsibilities.
Yes.
You know, one guy will be, let's say, defense bigs. You know, the other guy's got guards on the offense. The other guy's charting thing. I mean, they all have their individual assignments.
I think part of it is obviously the success of the program. it's just natural. The more successful the program is, you get more turnout for potential players. More guys want to come out. So maybe more teachers in the school want to come and help out as well.
Yeah, maybe some aspiring coaches, right?
Warnock cans a three from the left corner. And lead is 15 for Lehigh. There's Martin. Takes care of it on the other end. Martin in double figures for Curtis. Right side three, it's Jacobs. Back-to-back three-pointers for Lehigh. And they have extended the lead to 16, their largest of the game.
And it's so impressive because there's so many different guys who are contributing. A year ago, this Lehigh team, they had a deep team, and they had a lot of different guys who can contribute, but you defer to a Devontae Green for good reason, right?
Yep.
And there you see a couple of the former stars, Kenton Facey and Ashcraft Yakubu as well. But this year's team, there isn't that guy, you know, that one star. And I think in many ways that they're a better team because of it.
They're definitely more balanced, deeper. As we said, 7 different players scored in the first quarter. They're led right now by Donatas Kupsas with 11. Brandon Jacobs has 8. Chris Coleman with 7. The top 3 scorers for Lehigh right now. Straightaway 3 for Eigenman. Offensive board, put back, no. Another offensive rebound for Anderson. Turns around, fires a 3 that's short, out of bounds.
He did everything else so right in that situation. Did the AA Express. What he did not do right there, and you could hear Archibald from across the court saying, Ahmad, bring it out.
Yeah, that's a high difficulty shot. Kupsas looked like he was caught in between, turned it over. Magic Adome to the basket.
Number 5, Sammy Magic Adome.
Back it comes for Kupsas. 2:43 to go in the first half. Good defense for Curtis, forced the turnover. Malik Martin's got it. Martin driving to the basket is fouled. And that'll be Kupsas' first.
Number 13, Donatas Kupsas. That is his first. Team's 10th.
And then for Curtis, with 2:35 left in the first half, got to figure, all right, get it to within 10, see where we are, and continue to push forward from there.
That means the game for the Crusaders, number 12, Pietro Giovanardi. He replaces number 13.
Kupsas will go out. Giovanardi will return. Already 8 different players have entered the game for Lehigh this afternoon. Malik Martin nets 1 of 2. Jacobs lobs it down low for Coleman in the corner. Swinson trying to post up. Now they find it to him on the left blocks. Back out it comes. Ball tipped on the way. Martin's got it for Curtis. Martin to the basket.
So impressed with Martin.
And you see why he's got the interest of Rhode Island, Hofstra, Creighton, Virginia. Quite a few schools looking at him. Jacobs, his shot blocked, but there for the putback is Coleman.
That was number 24, Chris Coleman.
Turn around, that was blocked by Swinson and put back in.
Ransford Adjaman.
Aguiman's got 6 points, an 11-point advantage for Lehigh. 90 seconds left in the first. Warnock up top, wide open left side 3 for Giovanardi.
Number
Well, 45 first half points. That is coming close to some of the total team outputs we had for entire games the first 2 games. Three-pointer too strong.
Well, you can certainly see why Lehigh has been and will remain the #1 team on Long Island, the difference of play.
Ahead for Anderson. No good, but there to clean it up was Magic Adomi.
Calls number 5, Sandy Magic
12-point advantage. There's Jacobs, fouled from behind by Anderson. Just the 3rd team foul against Curtis.
Anderson, that is his first, team's 4th. In the game for the Crusaders, number 5, Brian Kenyon. He replaces number 23,
Brian Kenyon returning. There's Giovanardi, 6'4" junior. Unselfish from the guard spot. Swinson turnaround, lefty hook.
That's a nice shot.
Showing some good touch and feel around the basket. Malik Martin looks up at the shot clock and sees that it's off. 10 seconds to go in the first half. They'll hold for 1. Anderson heads away to release that shot and mistimed it. Coleman's got it, looking ahead for Kenyon. 3 is off the glass, but it'll fall. No good.
at the end of the first half.
An impressive first half of play for Long Island Lutheran. 47 first half points as they lead by 14 with 1 half in the books.
Who will rise higher? Dunk harder. And go farther. The playoffs are here. Tune to News 12 Varsity all postseason long.
47-33 is your score as we get ready to start the 3rd quarter at Lehigh. At shortest, Dylan Butler, Tom Schnorrs with you. And Lehigh just so balanced. As Dylan, you were saying during the halftime, if they play like this, they are an incredibly difficult team to match up with. Martin on the first shot of the half misses short.
And this isn't, look, this isn't a bad Curtis team. It's actually a very, very good Curtis team, a team that you said at the top is certainly a contender for the PSAL championship this year. Extra steps by Martin there. And what Lehigh has done in that first half, 8 3-pointers and everything within the rhythm of the offense, nothing forced. So many different scorers and contributors, and yeah, I think if they play like this, the sky is the limit.
Mustafa trying to put back, and we'll have a loose ball foul on Curtis.
I'm not sure there's going to be a team in the tri-state that maybe can match them. Of course, Archbishop Malloy's got Moses Brown, the 7-footer, but I don't know if there's a team that man for man could match them maybe in their size. And then you've got bigs who are versatile.
Yes.
They could step out, they could shoot the 3, they're heady, they can pass the ball.
3-pointer on the way for Jacobs is short. Mustafa trying to chase it down, and he's the last one to touch it before it heads out.
That's a rare miss from 3.
And then 8 of them in the first half.
Yeah. And then you've got a point guard in Brandon Jacobs who just does all the little things right.
And he's in his 2nd year as a starter, which is so key for this. Last year they were bringing him along as a starter, but he could kind of defer to other guys, even from the point guard. This year, he's got guys who can score around him, but he's had that 2nd year starting in the system and understanding the offense and knowing it so much better.
Yeah, it's akin to you hear about a 2nd and a 3rd year starting quarterback and what that means to programs.
Jacobs again, nice feed to Mustafa underneath.
Kick ball. And you talk to John Buck, and he'll say, what I like about this team is, yes, there's all these different players, right, who can step up on the day. Many days, often, all or most of them do, but they like to play with each other. They're like a sponge with learning each day, and they practice so hard as well.
Good strong move by Oyakanami. 13 is the deficit. Offside, that's a 3 off the heel of the rim by Coleman.
So if you're a coach, I mean, those are some great ingredients for a successful team.
They fell short of the ultimate prize the last several years. Might this be a team that can get there? As Fabosi steps to the left and knocks down a 3. First points of the game for one of the captains, spot-up shooter, and that gets Curtis back to within 10. Double team out on the right side, drawn by Coleman. He turns it over. Martin trying to push the tempo for Curtis. Right side, Ackerman will try a 3, no good. Fabosi's got the rebound, kicks it back out to Martin. Martin will step in. A free throw line, push shot, drops in.
Nice pull up, and all of a sudden it's a bit of a run now. 7-0 for the Warriors.
And they're back within single figures. Mustafa, kickball on Oyakanami. Donatas Koupsas, interestingly, did not start the second half. He comes in with 3 minutes gone. Inbound pass knocked away by Eggerman. Curtis defense putting up some pressure. Martin to Fabosi. Fabosi and a goaltend on Coleman. Well, Buck wanting a foul called on Martin there. The second straight game where we've seen that kind of play and no foul called.
Right in the same part of the court, too. I was thinking the same.
And just a 6-point game now. It was 14 to start the third quarter. Foul on Curtis. Magic Adumi picks up his second personal foul. Underneath, Koupsas stripped to the ball, battle for it underneath. And a jump ball, Lehigh will retain the possession. Good hands though by Oyakanami. Can't match Koupsas' size. Stripped him on the way up. Left side, Coleman, three-pointer is good. Chris Coleman's got 12. And a travel on Curtis down the other way. Brandon Jacobs knifing his way inside, dumps it off for Koupsas, who's fouled. Magic Adumi cannot believe it. Pardon me, it was on Oyakanami. On Donatas Koupsas. Who plays for the Lithuanian national team.
Yeah, he's got some big-time looks.
It's interesting to me. Lithuania is a pretty small country, but the basketball community within Lithuania feels even smaller. Everybody seems to know everybody else on a personal level. But Boise, they got a timeout off just before a turnover.
Timeout. Curtis.
Well, Curtis this year, they've tried to get more up tempo as Dwayne Archibald in his first year as head coach. Not necessarily taking that as a system, but he knew that they had the kind of athletes that could play to that pace. So that is part of the reason. He said they're averaging 85 points per game. The lowest scoring game they had was a loss earlier this week to Wings, where they scored 70.
And then they came back and put, like, I think 90, right, on Susan Wagner, I think, in their last game. But, yeah, look, in the PSAL, that's the way you win. You know, you've got to be in a track meet, I think, oftentimes, and they do that so well.
So the scoring hasn't quite been there. Still in a good place, just maybe not to what they've been used to this year.
It's a good save by you.
The MacBook was right in its path. Had to do something.
Perilously.
Good, nice spin move in the lane by Magic Adomi. Had it swatted on the second attempt, but it will stay with Curtis.
I saw that happen one time, press row. I was at Carnesecca Arena, and a ball comes out, and an open MacBook just, yeah. The spider web that appeared moments later. The panic look by the writer on deadline, it was not a pretty sight. 6 on the shot clock.
Can I get the company to pick up that repair?
So how did that happen? Well, I'm courtside.
Which is pretty tight. Martin will try it and heave it at the buzzer.
You guys gave me a tight deadline. I'm trying to write.
Right on courtside here.
Yeah.
The worst I ever had in college, I was doing Hofstra and Towson, and a Towson player dove for a loose ball as he was coming towards us, crashed into the table, and it turned my mixer off for a brief moment. So I was off the air trying to figure that out. I was able to flick it back on. That's the worst I've had. You often get the camera guys, like Chris Bergman is in the perilous positions. Guys driving to the basket.
Yeah, there he is. But his head's on a swivel, so I think he's ready. And plus, Dennis Rodman's not here, so he'll be fine.
Nearly taken away. Jacobs has it. Right side of the lane. He's in double figures today with 10.
Yeah, number 10 with a nice spinning layup. Got some nice English on that ball.
There's Aguiman. Kicks it back out up top for Anderson. Anderson now gives it up, moves it back. Magic Adomi, nothing there. Martin for the putback, and Mustafa is there. Brandon Jacobs. That's knocked away.
I think I remember one time I think I was up in Albany for the state federations, and it was Lehigh and I forgot the opponent. And we showed the banner before. Nice look inside.
Mustafa the finish.
And I think it was Ashcraft Yakubu, actually, who went on and played at Villanova. There's the banner. Came flying over, and it's like the second before you realize, I just can't do anything about this. And then just everything came flying down. Laptops everywhere. Everybody was good, though.
He's not a small guy.
No.
Short from Magic Adomi.
In Albany, it has been, that's the season. Or at least, well, it has been. Now it's just Glens Falls, but that's all Lehigh has to play for. Again, they have that independent schedule, so There's no county championship to win, no conference title. It's all about the federation at the end of the year. And you've mentioned earlier, they've fallen short the last couple years of doing that. Losing to Christ the King a couple years, then losing to Thomas Jefferson a year ago. Of course, the great Shamari Pons, who's now doing terrific things as a freshman at St. John's.
Mustafa, some nice post moves. And the second attempt goes in. Issam Mustafa with 9 points. And Martin clutched at the three-point arc by Chris Coleman.
And if you're Lehigh, again, this is, these are the games you have to build a challenging schedule to prepare yourself, as there's a foul going to the basket, for late March and Glens Falls. And they have done that again this year. Again, you look at this week, it's Iona Prep on the road on Tuesday, and you win in New Rochelle, and a very good Curtis team here to cap the Lehigh Invitational. And then just about 24 hours later, at Adelphi University, Bishop Lachlan.
And in fact, that week, much of the teams that were playing in that tournament, they were all playing brutal schedules, 4 games in 5 or 6 days, and the snow kind of broke up the rhythm of that. That'll bounce in from Giovanardi.
I like the little kiss off the glass, the leaner.
Here's Giovanardi again. And a timeout called by Curtis. Well, the international players stoking the flames and setting the pace right now between Mustafa Kupsis and Pietro Giovanardi. I was talking to John Buck about that. The international flair that this team has. Mustafa's from Egypt. Kupsas is from Lithuania. Giovanardi is from Italy. You have Andre Curbelo, a freshman who gets some moments here as well, from Puerto Rico. And he said we've always had international players. Like Kenton Facey was from Jamaica. And he said there were guys when he played, he graduated back in 2002. He said the ones we have now are just attracting more attention because they're such good players.
And don't forget, too, Brandon Jacobs from Queens.
Yes. Jamaica Queens, maybe?
But no, you're right. And it's hard enough, I think, when you're a team like a Lehigh or say a St. Anthony's or one of these non-publics where you're drawing guys from all around. Now you make it an international situation. But I feel like that actually brings this team closer, because if you're a kid like Mustafa, you come here, maybe you don't know a whole lot of people, right? I mean, you're from a different country, a different situation.
Yeah, and you're not the only one. There's
Yes.
multiple people on your team going through that same transition, that same struggle that you can identify
have that,
with.
Yes, exactly. So you have that bond immediately.
Amon Anderson for Curtis. Threads the needle on that pass up to Oyakanami. Magic Adumi short on the 3. Rebound in transition. Here's Coleman. Had his pocket picked by Magic Adumi. Ahead to Martin. Martin D'ing up on Kupsis. Offensive foul on Martin.
Great defense by Kupsis. He didn't move. He saw Martin coming. Just got big. Just raised those arms up and drew the offensive foul.
Just such a balanced player. Which is why, as you said, the fun Porzingis comparisons come in.
Hey, listen, weekly, Jimmy Cavallo doesn't even let me say his full name. He says, he stops me and says, no, it's the Zingis. I said, all right. But he saw them at, I think it was at Christ the King when they beat up on Cardozo, another PSAL power. That he fell in love with Koopsis.
Jacobs gives a look at the clock. Shot clock is off with 15 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Jacobs trying to feed to Koopsis, taken by Anderson on a deflection. Anderson, half-court heave, hits the front iron. And maybe could have taken a couple extra steps with that thing. Went a little early, but a 19-point advantage for Lehigh. After a good start to the third for Curtis, Lehigh ends the third strong.
The love, yeah, it's in our souls. The passion, it's in the cheers. And in that pivotal moment, we live and die with every pass, block, steal, and game-winning dunk. And we wouldn't want it any other way. Don't miss a minute. Download the News 12 Varsity app today.
Fourth quarter, Lehigh in control, 64-45 over Curtis out of Staten Island. Matt Shortis, Dylan Butler, and Tom Schnars with you. The third game of the Lehigh Invitational. We had Hills East defeat Elmont Bayshore in a pretty convincing win over Westbury. And Lehigh on top to start the fourth over Curtis. Giovanardi had it stripped. Anderson. Back-to-back baskets to start the fourth for Curtis. Defensive intensity has been turned up a level for Curtis. And a timeout called by Lehigh. Well, for Curtis, as we talked about, had Quincy Barnes as well as Ahmad Anderson, those two football players. Barnes being the quarterback on the football team. And I asked Dwayne Archibald if he felt that that championship experience has helped, and he said, well, the City Football Championship was a Friday night at Yankee Stadium. We went there, it was great. We had practice the next morning, and those two were both there. And he said they know what it takes to win, and the guys look at them now in terms of how to approach things, the attitude that they bring. And I think it tells you a lot that they could have been out celebrating Friday night. They could have slept in Saturday morning, and instead they chose to be at hoops practice.
And the funny thing is, I don't think Archibald would have blamed them, right?
No. Anytime there's that layover, oftentimes, guys will miss practices, start the season. So Lehigh's got it out of the timeout. John Buck's club has surrendered back-to-back baskets. Smooth stroke from Donatas Koopsis.
Yeah, just spots up from the corner, knocks it down. Such a sweet stroke and a little
travel on Fabosi, a slight hesitation. And Koopsis, team high 16. 7 different players have done the scoring for Lehigh. Koopsis tops among them. Push shot from Giovanardi, won't go. Mostafa there for the putback, that's off the iron. Magic Adumi out in transition. Side to side, draws contact, and gets the bucket as well.
strong, strong move.
Pietro Giovanardi picking up his 4th personal foul. The 4th as well against Lehigh in the second half. Magic Adumi up to 14 points for Curtis. Down by 15, trying to make some hay to start the 4th. Up top, Koopsis. Little Euro step down the lane.
Got a Lithuanian step.
Are they in the Eurozone?
I believe so.
I believe they are. Right side, long two, misses, and Coleman is there. But it's stripped by Anderson. Anderson trying to move through traffic. Fabosi thought about it, now puts it on the deck. Mostafa intimidating him. And it's Giovanardi with it. Giovanardi along with Mostafa. Giovanardi shot blocked from behind. Mostafa there. His rebound won't go. And then Martin is fouled by Coleman.
You know, I was just thinking, you know, like it's one of those fun activities that sometimes teams or schools do, you know, where they say, hey, bring in food from your native land.
Like a potluck.
Yeah. Can you imagine how cool that is if John Buck does that?
That's some good grub.
Yeah.
Martin giving off to the left side for Magic Adomi. Martin short on the three. Mostafa. Jacobs. Right side. Jacobs. His shot won't go, but Mostafa flies in for the putback.
Oh, and then the scoop on the other side by Double A.
3 minutes gone by in the fourth quarter. 71-54, Lehigh remaining in control. Jacobs lost it on the way. Ahead again for Anderson. Could have been a goaltend, no call.
That's what Archibald wants, that's for sure.
Jacobs, free throw line jumper for Koupsis. I mean, his shots, they don't even hit the rim. They're all nylon. Coleman right side, Magic Adomi three. Koupsis is fouled after gaining the rebound.
See the Lehigh girls getting ready to go in the locker room. They got a game against Troy coming up.
And we'll have them tomorrow as well on News 12 Varsity.
Oh, that's a huge showdown. Rumson Fairhaven as part of that Coach's Challenge, Coach's Choice USA Challenge.
Oyakanami poking it from behind and laying it in down the other end. Midway through the fourth quarter, 73-56, Lehigh leads. Koupsis. Jacobs up top. 10 points today for Jacobs. Driving in, a lot of contact, no call. Anderson's got it, dumps it off, leaves it behind for Magic Adomi, who's fouled.
What a great pass, huh?
That's tremendous awareness. And Giovanardi has fouled out. And not only that, 1-1. Harrison Warnock returning. Magic Adomi knocking in the first as well as the second.
Well, not that we're surprised by this, but you gotta love the fight in Curtis.
They've cut it to within 15 a couple times in this quarter, have not been able to get it beyond that. They forced a turnover. 3.5 to go. Kick up top for Martin. Anderson will try a three. Got tipped on the way there. Put up by Acumen. And Luhi's got the board.
And then Koopsis is fouled on the rebound attempt.
The foul's on number 1, Ahmad Anderson.
And Amon Anderson, the guilty party.
Second, team's 6th in the game for
Quincy Barnes checking in for Curtis.
Curtis is number 32, Darnell Askew.
Luhi breaking the pressure. Warnock had stepped 1 foot over the half-court line and then went back. Here's Martin, contact, and 1.
For the goal, and it's good. Foul's on number 10, Brandon.
He's got the
His second.
brawn of his brother for sure. He's obviously a bit smaller, but
We will get the score correct.
what a talent Martin is.
When you're going up against your brother in the playground or backyard, wherever it might be, got to get a little toughness to you, right?
And I think you also need to establish an outside shot because the inside might be swatted.
Make sure you get that ball back. Right? Made shot. So Curtis slowly chipping away. They've cut it to 12 now with 3:05 to go.
Now going to show a little pressure.
Mustafa's got it underneath. I believe Barnes got him on the way up.
Foul's on number 32.
Barnes bid on the pump fake. Mustafa, had he gone up, Barnes would have went with him.
Athletic shooting 2 is number 44, Issa Mustafa.
How about Barnes with some hops, though, listed at 6 feet, and he grabbed the rim as he was trying to block that shot.
In the game for Curtis is number 0, Okanani.
Mustafa nets the first. Before you said Robin Lopez.
Yes.
He also reminds me, because I've been spending so much time at these events, John Alexis, who is referred to as the Giant on American Ninja Warrior. He's got that, that little lighter afro going as well.
You promised an obscure reference, and
Yeah.
you have delivered.
If you Google image him, though, there's a you'll appreciate it. A pair for Issa Mustafa. Lead back to 14 for Luhi, under 3 to play. Got it away, mid-range jumper for Acumen.
Ranford Adjuman.
And keep hanging around, but time might be against them at this point. Mustafa left of the lane. Jacobs catches it. Veers inside, and a foul prior to the shot.
Jacobs is so good at
Number 0, Adelaide.
slashing to the basket and maneuvering his way through the trees. We saw that in the first half.
He's got some Division II interests as a senior. Queens College, Post, Lemoyne, St. Rose.
That's a great level for him, too.
After he transferred in from Malloy last year. We have a timeout.
And a fifth foul.
Oh, 5th foul, pardon me. On Oya Kanami. Jacobs calmly at the first one. (77-63). 2.5 minutes to play. Up and under, no. Koopsis is there for the rebound. And Kupsis trapped on the sideline. Heaves it forward for Mostafa. Out back it comes for Kenyon. Mostafa collects the trash. Puts it back. No. Another long rebound, this time for Lou High. Out it comes for Jacobs near the timeline. Nearly intercepted, but falling out of bounds as he did so was Anderson.
They tried to go to Kenyon for the lob and nearly intercepted.
Warnock's pass intercepted. Down low, Martin finishes. Martin's got 20 points now. And a player is down for Lou High. Lou High's got it. Jacobs getting tended to on the Lou High sideline right now. And a Curtis foul.
See, here's where Lou High makes life a little bit difficult for guys like us. Because who do you speak to after a game like this?
Yeah, there's plenty of options. Theo Stamoulis coming in for the first time. The 6'1" senior out of New Hyde Park. Lead back to 14 for Lou High. Martin poked it away from Kupsis, who had the rebound. And a blocking foul on Donatas Kupsis.
It will not be a wire-to-wire win because Curtis did lead 5-4 in the early moments of the first quarter, but really since that point, all Lou High. Curtis has battled back, but just too much.
Free throw is good for Magic Adumi. Across the lane for Mostafa. And both teams trying to go inside, and lots of fouls still coming. Rensford Aggerman. Issam Mostafa. And who has had a real strong second half performance.
In the game for the Crusaders, number 20, Messiah Swinson. He replaces number 13.
And you talked about that depth and the balance, and the little difference of dynamic this year from last. And John Buck has seen it well. He says, we're not changing our philosophy, really. But we're tinkering and changing to match the personnel. Mostafa on the missed shot. And a kick ball with a minute to go. Right baseline, pump fake, Swinson puts it up and in. Three-pointer for Anderson off the side of the iron. Offensive board for Curtis. Martin lays it in. He's got 22 today in the losing effort. Shot clock is off. Curtis continuing to pressure. Mostafa, and he's fouled.
I think that might be one of the parts of Mustafa's game that we'll see him get better at, that explosion underneath, where instead of the foul, or maybe in addition to the foul, it's a dunk.
Yeah, again, remember, he's only a sophomore.
Right, yeah, I'm saying.
So the strength and the explosiveness will come. And at least today, he's been a good free throw shooter as well. So it's not like the fouls are hurting them, as you see with a lot of big men. Final 20 seconds. Martin hanging up. Well, they will not have their lowest scoring output of the season. They eclipsed the 70 they scored at Wings. And one more foul with 4.9 left.
Fouls on number 20, Messiah Swinson. And that is his second team's double bonus.
So Martin back to the line. It'll be interesting to see what this Curtis team does once the PSAL playoffs start. Last year they were eliminated in the quarterfinals by Thomas Jefferson, but so was everybody else. Not necessarily the quarterfinals, just
Throughout the playoffs.
throughout the playoffs. .5 night from Malik Martin. And over the timeline it comes. They'll move it up court. And that will be our final. 83-72 is the final today, as Lehigh improves to 15-2 on the season. Curtis, who was looking for their 20th win of the season, will have to wait a little bit longer. And a balanced effort. Mustafa had 15, Coleman had 14, Kupsis 20, Gianardi 10, Jacobs 12. 5 players in double figures today for Lehigh. We'll be back in a moment. 83-72, your final once more.
Who will rise higher, dunk harder, and go farther? The playoffs are here. Tune to News 12 Varsity all postseason long.
So again, your final score, Lehigh 83, Curtis 72. Lehigh had 5 players in double figures. They were led by Donatas Kupsis with 20 points. Issa Mustafa had 15. Chris Coleman had 14. Pietro Giovanardi with 10, and Brandon Jacobs with 10 as well. Curtis, they were led by Malik Martin, had 25 points. So for everybody involved in our broadcast, for producer Tom Schnars, for Dylan Butler, I'm Matt Shorta saying so long, and we'll catch you next time on News 12 Varsity.